Welcome to your Houston Rewind for the week of August 15th through the 19th. I'm KHU 11 digital anchor Brandy Smith. Are you ready to get caught up on stories you may have missed last week? So you're ready for this one? Let's rewind. On Monday, the Texas Education Agency released school ratings for the first time in 3 years. So schools typically get traditional grades A through F, but not this year. Instead, failing schools are not rated. The largest district in Texas, that would be Houston ISD, maintained a B, the same grade it got in 2019, but it increased its passing percentage from 92% to 94%. So how did other districts in the area do? Arlen Cannon shares the answer.
These districts were at the top of the class with an A grade: Cy-Fair, Katy, and Tomball. Several area districts got a B. Let's check that list: Alief, Clear Creek, Conroe, Fort Bend, Humble, Klein, Pasadena, Spring, and Spring Branch. There's only one district of concern in the Houston area that was all deemed with a C. Here's a breakdown statewide. 33% of school districts got an A rating. The majority got a B. Just under 10% got a C. And 1% got no rating at all. Now, those are failing grades. However, they will not count this year because of State Senate Bill 1365, which allows these districts time to recover from COVID setbacks.
If you really want to dig into all the local ratings, you can via KHOU.com. Just look for this article. Turns out drought conditions aren't the only thing causing problems with some people's lawns. There's also soil that's scared of water, sort of. Cheetah Craft breaks down what hydrophobic soil is and how it's impacting our drought.
It may seem counterintuitive, but when you have drought conditions, a lot of rain can be a problem. Dr. Rob Thompson from the University of Reading in England posted a simple video showing what happens. He put 3 cups of water upside down on 3 different ground conditions: wet grass, normal summer, and after a heat wave. The first cup drains quickly, the second a little more slowly, and the third one just sits there. That's because the ground has become what is called hydrophobic. Hydrophobic soil forms when hot air spreads waxy compounds found in the top layer of organic material. Those waxy compounds spread over small soil particles, basically giving them waterproof coats. That, combined with ground compacted because of lack of water, makes it tough for moisture to get in, leading to flooding. The solution is smaller amounts of water over longer periods of time, dispersing those waterproof coats, giving water a chance to soak in.
It's the rallying cry heard all over social media thanks to this viral video. It shows a toddler cheering for the Astros from his crib. Xavier Walton talks to the proud parents who say their hard work is paying off.
All of a sudden, I hear through the monitor, the chant, and no way, that can't be.
Oh, there's a way.
My proudest dad moment to date.
Were you like, yeah? Were you like, that's my boy? What
yeah,
that's my boy.
I jumped up out of bed. I said, here it is. I said, this is my moment right here.
The video lasts 30 seconds, but the moment will be remembered for a lifetime. Steven Silvis says his admiration for the Astros came at a young age. That's him as a kid next to Astros legend Craig Biggio.
Me, my brother, my sister, we didn't care about going to Fiesta, Texas or Disneyland or anything like that. We wanted to go to Astros games.
Now he's passing on the family tradition. Jackson, the star of the story, has been an Astros fan since the day he left the hospital.
All that hard work of just, drilling it into him, that the Astros are the best, finally paid off.
Jackson,
sorry that, he's a little camera shy.
Just 2 years old, roots for the Astros even in his sleep.
Yay. It's honestly, it's beautiful.
When you heard your son saying, "Let's go Astros,"
mm-hmm.
He's in his crib, he's by himself, and it's nighttime, and it's before bed. When you saw that, did you cry? Did you shed a tear?
Like, I'll be lying if I didn't say that, it didn't get me a little emotional, because it's more than just a chant, like a rally cry, for us.
Xavier Walton, KHOU 11 News.
On Tuesday, ERCOT named a new president and CEO. Pablo Vegas is a veteran utility executive from the Midwest, and ERCOT is banking millions on him for at least the next 5 years. Investigative reporter Jeremy Rogalski digs into who Vegas is and the challenges he faces.
Pablo is the right leader at the right time.
The hiring of Pablo Vegas comes at a time of reputation repair for the beleaguered Texas power grid.
With Pablo, we're getting the leader we've been looking for.
An experienced executive who's worked in Ohio for power company NiSource and before that, American Electric Power, where he once headed up the company's Texas operations. Vegas replaces Brad Jones, who stepped in as interim CEO after the massive power failures during the historic Texas winter storm.
He's coming in kind of like a manager of a baseball team in the middle of a transition.
KHOU 11 energy analyst at HERS.
He hasn't set up the players, he hasn't set up the contracts, but he's being charged with executing the plan.
But HERS says ERCOT's power plan hasn't been finalized. Demand is growing faster than supply, the generation fleet is old, and the shortage of transmission lines has already cost Texans $2.1 billion this year, double all of last year.
Pablo Vegas is a very experienced, very accomplished utility executive, but he's coming into a situation that's a real mess, and he's not going to be able to fix it by himself.
ERCOT is betting big that Vegas can lead. His 5-year contract comes with a $990,000 annual base salary, and with incentives, the new CEO could rake in more than $2 million a year.
That would double what the last permanent ERCOT CEO made. The first day on the job for Pablo Vegas is October 1st. We did ask ERCOT for an interview with its new hire. We were told he was not available. You can dig into his background a little more in this article on KHOU.com. We're a little more than 10 weeks away from the November election, and on Tuesday, the Elections Commission appointed the new Harris County Elections Administrator. Janelle Bluda explains why not everyone approved of the vote.
It's been 4 months since Harris County Elections Administrator Isabel Longoria submitted her resignation following issues and complaints with the 2022 primary elections. Today,
it's my understanding from the department's president that Mr. Tatum has met all of the requirements.
The Elections Commission is one step closer to hiring her replacement, appointing Clifford Tatum as the county's new elections administrator in a vote that passed 4-1.
And so I think everything points to a direction that he will be a successful leader.
Chair of the Republican Party, Cindy Siegel, was the one vote against his approval.
And I'm just wanting to avoid what we've had before, which was the fiasco we had back in March.
Saying an article was recently released about an election Tatum oversaw, which she says brought her concern.
Wrong ballots, machines not working, people's ballots not programmed correctly.
But County Judge Alina Hidalgo says before today, the process of hiring Tatum had been bipartisan.
It's disappointing, disheartening, but unfortunately not surprising.
Chair of the Democratic Party, Otis Evagaro, says Tatum is highly qualified.
He comes with a wealth of experience, coming from Georgia, coming from Washington, D.C. He's got a law degree as well, too, that's going to help out in the numerous boards he sit on. That's going to help out Harris County tremendously.
He's on paper and from having met him, a stellar candidate. And now, as I said, we'll see how he performs.
Tatum still has to be accepted by county commissioners, which is scheduled to happen next week. In Houston, Janelle Bluda, KHOU 11 News.
Some reminders ahead of the November election. The final day to register to vote is October 11th. Early voting starts the week of October 24th. And if you want to vote by mail, the deadline to apply is October 28th. Remember, it has to be postmarked by 7 p.m. on Election Day. It's on our coins and in some public buildings, but should "In God We Trust" be displayed on signs in Texas public schools? A new state law makes the signs mandatory if they're donated. Jason Miles shares how one local district is responding.
Thanks to a recently passed law, "In God We Trust" signs must go up in public schools like this if they're donated. The Yellow Rose of Texas Republican women have made a bunch of signs recently and posted donations to a number of Cy-Fair ISD schools on its Facebook page, something the district says the group plans to do for every campus. The reason is recently passed legislation requiring it if the signs are privately donated. The state representative behind the measure says he's gotten mostly positive feedback, but not everyone is on board.
I think it reminds us that we are a nation that believes in a power greater than ourselves.
Well, the point is that we are America and not everyone does believe in the same God. So telling children that is very confusing.
A private company donated a batch of signs to Carroll ISD near Dallas-Fort Worth just last night. Representative Oliverson says he got the idea from similar signs he saw in other states. And Cy-Fair ISD cited the state law in its statement about these signs. You can read that statement in full on KHOU.com. Reporting from Cyprus, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
Representative Oliverson says he spoke with leaders of various faiths who support the move and that God doesn't have to mean the same thing to everyone. You can read Cy-Fair ISD's full statement on KHOU.com. Katy ISD students went back to school on Wednesday, and on their first day back, some of their dads were already working to make sure campuses stay safe. Jason Miles introduces us to the guard dogs of Amy Campbell Elementary in Fulshire.
Well-known powerlifter James Strickland.
I'm the third heaviest bench press of all time.
Might look intimidating, but the Katy ISD dad is a softie when it comes to his kids and their classmates.
Male engagement programs have been around for a while. I've just championed it here in Katy.
He's part of a group at Amy Campbell Elementary called the Watchdogs, or Dads of Great Students. Volunteers who work to be positive male role models while providing an extra set of eyes and ears to enhance school safety.
Basically, each one of those spots is a dad and their child that they came up for.
Right now, Watchdogs or similar programs are in about 50 Katy ISD schools, which is a majority of campuses here. Volunteer Gary Aston says making connections with kids is the reason he keeps coming back to his daughter's school, Bethke Elementary.
Most all students recognize when the Watchdogs in the room, in the hallway, on campus. It's neat, and you get more smiles, more high fives, a lot of neat involvement. It's unique.
Watchdogs, also known by other names depending on the campus, may also include grandfathers, uncles, or any other father figure who, as of this year, must pass a more rigorous background check like all other volunteers.
And you feel really, really good about yourself being a servant of the school and actually giving back and volunteering your time.
In Katy ISD, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
Parents, we asked about your concerns going into the new school year. Overwhelmingly, you told us you are worried about school safety. We all want safe schools for our kids. But what does a safe school look like? After a school shooting, what should be done with the building? In Uvalde, the school board voted to demolish Robb Elementary, the school where 19 students and 2 teachers were killed. Newtown Public Schools made the same decision after a gunman took the lives of 20 students and 6 teachers.
Nobody knew where to go. It was a community in distress.
Architect Jay Brotman, who's designed schools for nearly 30 years, was tasked with laying out the new Sandy Hook.
The first reaction for everybody is to build a fortress and put our kids inside this fortress.
The new building, open for several years now, is the opposite of a fortress.
We turned the equation around to what is the best school that you could have for your children, and then let's make it safe.
They did that using an approach called crime prevention through environmental design, or CPTED for short. The principles address natural access control, natural surveillance, territoriality, activity support, and maintenance.
The CPTED principles will help you design a school with a layering, not a hardening.
Layers like shrubs around the perimeter of the property, separate parking lots for staff and visitors, a water garden in front of the school, more windows, not fewer.
It's either safe and secure or it's warm and welcoming, right? And I am truly a believer that when you're designing a school in the right way, it is and should always be both.
Karina Ruiz is another longtime architect who specializes in K-12 school design.
I would just encourage communities to ensure that fear doesn't become the primary driver of design.
I spoke to Jay Brotman and Karina Ruiz at length, including about what it would take to turn all of the existing U.S. schools into safe but comfortable spaces. You can watch those full interviews on KHOU.com. Someone noticed wind turbines at a standstill on a windy day and asked our Verify team to find out if the wind power is turned off on purpose. Cheryl Mercedes verifies.
Wind turbines are multiplying across the state. Texas is the top wind producer in the country, but the turbines are not always turning. William wrote the Verify team, just drove through West Texas and noticed that even with the wind blowing, many of the wind generators are turned off. I found out later that the Texas grid can't handle the extra load, so they have to turn off generators. William asked, is that correct? We have 3 sources for this. ERCOT Interim CEO Brad Jones, Jenny Fink, Senior Asset Manager with EDF Renewables North America, and KHOU energy expert Ed Hurst.
If the turbines are off, it's normal. It could be one of 3 reasons. 1, maintenance. 2, we already have enough power on the grid. Or 3, there's not enough transmission capacity to take that power to the consuming regions of the state.
Jenny Fink, who manages a wind farm in West Texas, calls it wasted energy.
And it's really frustrating to see that we have the capability to produce more power than we're actually able to get to the people who need it.
But ERCOT's interim president Jones explained last summer ERCOT has to limit the power transmitted to the grid to keep it from overloading.
Simply similar to if you hook too many Christmas lights together, you're going to have a problem. You'll blow a fuse eventually.
So we can verify the wind generators are turned off from time to time.
ERCOT says the state's transmission network would need significant infrastructure upgrades and more high voltage lines to move the extra energy produced. And that would come at a cost of $1.2 billion. With your Verify, I'm Cheryl Mercedes.
Have something you want our Verify team to look into? Here's how you can send us your questions. You can message us on Facebook, tag your post with the hashtag KHOUVerify, or email verify@khou.com. On Thursday, we followed up on concerns about Conroe ISD's bus transportation. Another parent came forward saying their child was also let off at the wrong bus stop just within the past week. Brittany Ford presses the district for answers.
Just 2 weeks into the Conroe ISD school year, parents are calling attention to an alarming trend.
I got a phone call from my daughter. I was out of town, and she's in an absolute panic.
Amber Coon's 10-year-old daughter, a student at Cox Intermediate, one of the latest to report a district bus driver let her off at the wrong stop. Coon spoke to us via phone, voicing her concerns.
And she told me that the bus driver was frustrated with her and told her that she didn't know where her stop was and that she needed to get off the bus.
She says it's happened twice in the last week.
She's sweaty, she's upset. You know, she doesn't even want to ride the bus anymore.
Conroe ISD is shedding light on the issue. The district says it's experiencing a shortage of bus drivers, going on to say that there is currently more than 50 openings to cover the district's nearly 400 bus routes.
It's frustrating, and it's negligence.
Responding to the now 4 reported cases, it says drivers not following district protocols will face a series of actions, including retraining, reassignment, or further disciplinary action.
I know my own daughter was, extremely shaken up by the situation.
Action Coon feels in her daughter's case should be termination.
I mean, if I had it my way, this bus driver probably wouldn't have a job.
Brittany Ford, KHOU 11 News.
You can read Conroe ISD's full statement on the school bus issues at khou.com. Families are feeling the inflation pinch when it comes to school supplies. The National Retail Federation says parents can expect to spend, on average, $864. That's $168 more than in 2019. Tiffany Craig looks at strategies to help you save.
This is what back-to-school excitement looks like. What's not exciting? The price hikes for all the supplies.
The prices have increased
ridiculous.
Janila Kostic, whose daughter's about to start first grade, says there's also sticker shock in stores.
For a few school supplies, you're easily going to spend around $70 or something.
Businesses selling supplies like The Classmate say keeping up with supplier price hikes is tough. Paper, for example, is more expensive than ever.
It's hard because a lot of the companies have increased their prices alone in this calendar year 5 times.
That's why it's so important to shop around in person and online, says Kelly Glass. She's a writer for the website Kindred by Parents.
I do what I call pre-shopping online, seeing what deals the stores have, but also checking inventory, because what we don't want to be doing is hopping around from store to store.
Kelly also suggests checking apps that offer coupons or cash back on purchases, and consider buying generic. That will definitely save you money.
Our parenting experts suggest getting in touch with nonprofits to find out if they're having school supply drives. And she offers one more tip for parents. Try not to stress. She says by making shopping a positive and exciting experience, it'll set the tone for the school year. You can find art just about anywhere in the Houston area. That includes college and university campuses. Sam Houston State University in Huntsville is no exception.
The campus itself is beautiful. We have rolling hills, we have lots of trees.
Mixed in with the green of nature and brick of the buildings are pops of color.
We have a lot of beautiful art for people to look at, forms and colors and shapes and things to make them think about art while they're walking around. Sort of like an outdoor museum.
Michael Henderson is chair of the arts department at Sam Houston State University, which is based in the new Dana G. Hoyt Fine Arts Building.
This area of campus is now sort of the arts quadrant. We're across the street from the Performing Arts Center and the theater and just near the music building.
Fittingly, you can find art in and around that area and beyond.
We have a lot of art that's been acquired in the past few years as campus has grown a lot, and we've been able to purchase things with public art fund money.
There are a number of pieces on campus from Houston artists, including this one. This installation is by Dan Phillips, and if it looks familiar, that's because he's one of the artists behind Smither Park.
We focused on purchasing art by artists who have a Texas connection in most cases.
The pieces give passersby, students, teachers, parents, reason to wander and wonder.
And the art is like punctuation marks that give you something to think about and look at.
It's a reminder that the art scene here has much more to offer than just the iconic Sam Houston statue we all know.
There's a lot of art in the town also, and there's a lot of artists.
Looking out the window Friday morning, it was hard to tell how dry it's been across Texas. Marcelino Benito examines how much this week's storms could affect drought conditions.
Ask and you shall receive, right? Everybody's been praying for rain.
After a dangerously hot, dry summer, Texas is getting wet and more rain on the way.
It's kind of really helping out the drought situation that the state's in right now.
It's great news for the Forest Service. Statewide, parts of Texas could see anywhere from an inch to 12 inches of rain the next 7 days.
Before this rain came in, a week ago, 10 days ago, they were really busy. Multiple boots on the ground.
This was the scene a month ago today. Fires burning across the state. On July 18th, the Forest Service had responded to 24 new wildfires that had burned 8,000 acres, even destroying homes. Flash forward to today, firefighters only responded to 5 that charred 27 acres.
We are starting to see that decrease in fire activity, but we don't want people to get complacent either. I mean, we can have fires started by lightning strikes.
Here in Harris County, the rain making its mark too.
This rain is making us very happy because we're not going to see those outdoor fires.
Fire conditions have been dangerous. Since July 1st, when the county burn ban went into effect, the fire marshal's office received reports of 753 outdoor fires. That's nearly 200 more than there were reported in all of 2021. Now, conditions have improved so much, the fire marshal's office plans to lift the county burn ban Tuesday. With rain in the forecast all of next week, it could not come at a better time.
That saturation right now is going to help us tremendously. So, although none of us want to be stuck in a flood, none of us want to be stuck in the driving rain, we are grateful that we're getting that now.
Let's talk college basketball. The Final Four is coming to Houston next March, and local universities are using the event to give students a unique learning opportunity. The schools are offering a 2-semester class called The Business of Major Sporting Events. Matt Musil explains how it'll work.
For the championship! The last time Houston hosted the Final Four was 2016, and the title game was a thriller, ending on a buzzer beater. But now that our city's 4th Final Four is on the horizon, the 4 host schools want their students' input. They're doing so by conducting a unique class titled The Business of Major Sporting Events.
And I knew that coming to Houston would grant me opportunities to be in a major city with major sports opportunities that I wouldn't get at other universities.
The opportunity is so great. I'm just very grateful that our school has a chance to collab with all the other Houston schools.
Students from Rice, Texas Southern, the University of Houston, and Houston Baptist will be getting a unique hands-on experience of putting on a Final Four.
Once I was given some assignments, I realized that my background with basketball and the knowledge that I do have allowed me to bring an element that they were missing.
Our predecessors were fantastic. We got to say in 2016 that was the best Final Four yet. Now this is going to be the next one because of how great they were.
This is a 2-semester class which will culminate with the Final Four being held here in Houston. It officially begins March 31st. In downtown Houston, Matt Musil, KHOU 11 Sports.
Hope that helped you catch up on this past week, and now you're ready for next week. Remember, you can tune into KHOU 11 on air, online via KHOU.com and YouTube, as well as by using our KHOU 11 Plus app on Roku and Fire TV. Have a great week.